to Woodford County Hometown Highlights, a podcast brought to you by the Woodford County Library and proudly part of the What's Up Woodford Network, where we share the stories, people, and places that make our community feel like home. I'm Talor, and today's episode is extra special. We're talking to someone who plays a huge role in shaping our library and the services we offer to the community. Joining me today is Stacy Thurman, the director of the Woodford County Library. Stacy, thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. So let's start at the beginning for listeners who may see you around the library but don't know much about you. Can you tell us a little about yourself?
Sure. I do more than just hide out in my office, which I think people probably feel like I do. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but just briefly, I live in Midway with my family. I've got two kiddos, 15 and 19. Goes by very quickly. 2 dogs, 2 cats. My husband works for UK as a police officer there. And I worked in Midway for most of my library career and then got to move my office over to the big city and have been the director now for 2 years.
So what drew you to library work?
Really, I wish I could say it was like books and literacy, but there's so much more, as you know, to working in a public library.
Yes.
I got started when the Midway branch opened. We had just moved to Midway that year, and they were looking for part-time people. I had one 3-year-old at the time and didn't really want a full-time job. I wanted to stay home with him, so it kind of seemed like a great, place to work. It's not that I wasn't a library supporter, but I really didn't champion public libraries. It was like, oh, who doesn't want to work at a part-time job at the library? Mm-hmm. Great. It's in walking distance to my house. The kid's going to school next door. Perfect. But what really kept me there was just the sense of community. Of course, it was a great way to meet people in Midway. Everybody, wanted to come to the new branch and get their library card. So I met a lot of new neighbors, being a new person there myself. And quickly learned to love working somewhere where I felt a sense of purpose. Mm-hmm. I really like serving the community in that aspect, being able to help them with the computer, being able to provide programming. Love the children's programming because I have a degree in art. Got to use that a little bit with a program I did called Art Attack for 8 years. So that was a lot of fun and just kind of got in my blood, and I decided to go back and get my master's in library science.
So you also been more than just a library director. You was also the mayor of Midway.
Yes. So I think the same aspect of that community service, sense of community, kind of drew me to working with the city. So I ran for city council. I was the highest vote getter, much to my surprise. I was proud of that, though, because it did show that I had made an impact and had gotten to know my community very well. So did that for 4 years, and then there was an opening to run for mayor. So I briefly lost my mind, did that, found very quickly that it's a very different kind of community service. Mm-hmm. Then I became the director of the library here in Woodford County and decided maybe to step down from being mayor. It wasn't necessarily my passion, but still I was honored to do that. And I think everybody should get to know city government, local city government a little bit better so they can appreciate all that the elected officials do.
Agreed. Everyone's career journey has its ups and downs. Was there a moment when you thought this is exactly where I'm meant to be?
Yeah, I mean, really from the beginning. The way I questioned my city government roles, I didn't do that with my library role ever. Like I said, I love working there from the start. Really love being in children's programming and being able to go over to my kids' school and read books to the class. The great thing about, and we'll get into this more later, about the Woodford County Library is that we're small enough. We're still a big library system, but we're small enough that we can really do a lot of different roles. I always tell our employees, our coworkers, if you have something that you really love to do, I don't care if you just work here, 12 hours a week. If you love to read to kids, let's get you in kids programming. If you love to knit, you can teach knitting. So I think that leadership from the time I started really inspired me to be able to see what I loved about public libraries. And then lo and behold, I got into management. So and that was a little bit different than the children's programming. But no, I think from the beginning, I've always loved library work, especially public libraries. I just love what we do for the community.
So becoming a library director is a big deal. And like you said, it's more than just hiding away in your office. Can you walk us through your journey to this role?
Yeah, so I mean, I do hide in my office a lot, but I'm working in there, so I pay bills. I mean, my day is basically no one would understand how many bills I have to pay for staff, building maintenance. I mean, we have two buildings. Obviously, one in Versailles is older, has a lot of needs and issues that come. But I do love that there's no 2 days that are alike at the library. So, I mean, some days are better than others. Some days I'm cleaning a mess in the restroom or dealing with issues in the parking lot. Not my favorite things. But other days I get to welcome guests to the library. I get to talk to groups that come in. I get to see story time going on. And, I mean, we've got some of the greatest employees and colleagues that we work with. So, I really enjoy just getting to talk to them, and I feel like there's that sense of community, not just with our Woodford County community, but within our library. I think the Midway branch as well. We're all very close, and I think we work well together. So
I agree.
So yeah, I mean, my day can vary. It's not always exciting. It's payroll, and like I said, trying to find someone who can fix the bathroom door that's broken, or trying to fix it myself often. Sometimes I'm a handyman, a janitor, HR, I mean, you name it. So it's fun to wear a lot of different hats. I think I've come to enjoy that.
What were some of the biggest challenges you faced along the way?
I think basically just learning my management style, my leadership style. I didn't picture myself in a management role when I got my master's in library science. I really thought that I would maybe be a children's librarian. Like I said, I enjoy that aspect of it. I thought maybe a reference librarian. I enjoy like helping people solve problems and find the information they need. It was actually our last director, Karen Kasakavich, who was like, "Why don't you be a director?" And I'm like, "I don't really think I want to manage people." And she's like, "Why not?" Like, so I credit her bluntness and her enthusiasm for the job to really get me going. But I was a branch manager in Midway for several years before I became assistant director and kind of moved myself over to Versailles. But again, we have great employees, so I think just figuring out how to work with them, their needs, how to encourage them. I think that's a big hurdle for anybody that wants to be in charge, right?
Yes.
It comes with a lot of responsibility as well. Also, COVID. I mean, anybody can probably say that, but for public libraries, that was a real game changer. And I was not. I was still the branch manager in Midway at that time. It was the first time I had to lay off all my employees. I sat there and cried as I called every one of them. They all understood. We tried to keep them on for as long as we could. The board wanted to pay them, but as we know, COVID went on a little bit longer than what we anticipated at first. So I think that was a huge learning experience because I think we all had to learn how to pivot, and we became better for it. We were able to better serve our community. But I mean, I've never felt as lonely and depressed as sitting in a closed public library by myself, having to call my staff and tell them that they were laid off. So that was a hurdle, but also a big learning experience. Yeah.
So getting a little personal, outside of the library, what's something people will be surprised to know about you?
I mean, I don't come with a lot of surprises, but I think that people might be surprised that I don't read a lot. And I read every day, but I don't fly through books like I think people expect you to when you work in a library. And B, I'm a huge introvert. I don't really do well when I'm around people constantly. I think like a lot of introverts, we have to force ourselves. And the past 10 years, I have forced myself into roles where I am a public figure, where I do public speaking, where I deal with the public day in and day out. I have to kick people out of the library occasionally if they're misbehaving. You've seen that happen. I don't enjoy that. I actually did not like conflict before I got into city government, and then I learned to just embrace it because it's part of it. But I think I need downtime. Like that's like when I go home, I don't want to talk to people. I don't want to, I'm done going to all the social functions. I have to learn to just say no because I need to recharge. And I think like all of us introverts, we just need that time.
I didn't know you was an introvert.
Yeah.
I am too.
Yeah, I know. I think there's a lot of us. But, you know, I think because I have forced myself into public roles for whatever reason, I guess I like to be outside of my comfort zone sometimes. I think pushing yourself to do things that scare you are always, it's a good thing. That's what I try to teach my kids. Like, it's okay to be scared. It's good. It's a good learning way to learn and to learn more about yourself. But I think maybe people wouldn't expect that. I just want to be left alone sometimes.
Same. No, I feel you on that. So we all have our little quirks or routines. So do you have a daily habit or a ritual that helps you stay grounded?
No. And I have never been one for rituals. I've always thought about journaling or gratitude journals, and honestly, I just can't. I get kind of bored. Like, I can't. But the way, I think the thing that recharges me, that makes me feel good, is exercise. I wish that I used to get up daily and exercise every morning. Now I've backed off a little, but the mornings that I do get up early and run before work, no matter what the weather's like, if I can get out there. I want to be like that
so bad. I want to be a 5 a.m. girly so bad.
Well, I've backed off of that a little bit. I used to be up every morning at 5 exercising, but I do love to go for a run. I especially love the cold weather runs. It's recharging. It makes you feel good. It gets you through your day. So I think, if anything, that's my ritual.
I wish. I want to be like that so bad, but I can't.
It's my mental health. I always, like, when my alarm goes off, I have to remember how good I feel when it's done.
Yes.
And that's what gets me out of bed.
Yeah. So looking forward, what are some of your goals for Woodford County Library?
So many. I really think, first I want to reflect on what we've done. I think that since COVID, public libraries have had to rebuild, and I think we've done an excellent job of that. And most of it's because of our phenomenal staff.
Yes.
But we have more adult programs, more children's programs than we've ever had before. And it's one thing to have more programs, but our statistics show that we're actually having more people attend those programs, which to me is more, we have to quantify everything with numbers. But to me, what I get out of our library is what people leave with, the smiles on their face, the fact that they come back. I want to keep providing a space for people to talk face-to-face. I think, especially now, that face-to-face conversation, like we had the chamber coffee every month, and that people come and drink coffee and listen to a speaker and talk to one another and learn something new. That's what I want library programming to be about. Yes, we're online. We have a lot of virtual resources. I also want to see us do more outreach. I think, and because you gave me a cheat sheet and I can see some of these questions, I want to go ahead and talk about our 5 to 10 year plan, because I think that leads into that. I really see social work as a big part of what public libraries do. I would love to hire a professional social worker. Because we deal with people who are unhoused, we deal with people with drug addiction, people with mental illness, and we're not always equipped to deal with that. So I think having someone who has history in social work, not only in our building, but like taking our outreach car out, reaching those communities, those that really need us probably more than anybody else, but don't come to us, that don't come in our doors. So I'd love to see like a mobile outreach, not only providing books and resources, but also providing people with food and, necessities and things that they need. I think more and more public libraries are kind of going that direction.
Yeah.
And again, it's about that face-to-face contact, right? Like, there's only so much we can do virtually on our computer, but if we can meet people where they are, which we already do. We do so much outreach with nursing homes, senior center, we go to the schools, and that's still a huge part of what we do, but I could see us taking that even further, which I'm excited about, because I think that's really going to help the community, especially going forward. I just think there's going to be more and more of a need for that. We have a really exciting opportunity coming up in the near future. In 2026, April and May, we have the Smithsonian exhibit coming. We were one of 7 sites in Kentucky chosen for the Smithsonian exhibit. And it's called Americans. It's about indigenous people. And I think for us to be able to provide the county and surrounding counties with that opportunity to see a real Smithsonian exhibit is pretty special. And I think this is going to be a really fun one because it teaches about the true history of our Indigenous people, but also shows a lot of images of Native Americans in pop culture and how we portray Native Americans now. And so it really makes you think about, like, what do these images mean? Are they good? Are they bad? How does that make you feel? And I think it's going to start a lot of conversations about that. So we're working with the school system to get a lot of the high school kids here. Actually, no, I think we decided 8th grade was what we were going to target. So middle school kids here. We're working with different people in the community to speak about Indigenous people, especially in Woodford County, because there were Indigenous people here. I don't think that's something that we really hear about often, but we're happy to get that conversation started. And that's pretty big. It's going to take over the whole like what we call the Internet Cafe in our first floor of the library. So that'll be great. We're also working with the Kentucky Science Center, and we are wanting to host Science and Play to Go again. We were the first library to host that like 10 years ago, and it's rotated through a lot of different libraries in Kentucky, and they would like to come set up with us again. And that's more for younger kids. It offers all of what you talk about when you talk about STEAM opportunities for kids. And I think it's, again, that takes over the whole first floor of our library. So a lot of fun things. Our staff might be a little worn out in 2026.
Because you'll be around, like, what, summer reading?
We talked about that. It's to be decided. I think
Okay.
it might be a little further. We decided that summer reading might not be the best time because that's a busy time for us, too.
Yes.
So we have a lot of cool things coming up, a lot of great programming. I think it's all very exciting. And then just real quick to plug our digital legacy lab that we've gotten going in our history room. A lot of people are learning how to preserve their photographs and their videos and things by making them digital. And Sherry talked about that in one of our podcasts. So I'm super excited about that, even though I don't understand it and I need to get training on it. I can be a big cheerleader for it. So I think that's a really cool.
It's been going really good.
Yeah.
We've been having a lot of people come in. Even like last night, we had someone come in for help with a video.
Yeah,
So
that's great.
been
I mean,
very
this is
popular.
something people pay a lot of money for, and you can come to your public library and do it for free.
Yes. So we've seen all libraries evolve. What do you think makes Woodford County Library unique compared to other libraries?
Well, I'm a little biased. I think our staff is second to none. They have their knowledge, education, but also just their commitment to serving this community, their kindness. They treat every patron the same across the board, and they're just great to work with. I think it's cool that we have, two branches of our library that are very different, right? I think that says a lot about how we serve different parts of our community. The Midway branch is like a little tree house. It's by the school across from Northridge. It's tiny, but it's, mighty. They do a lot of great programming too. It's a great space. Everybody that walks in there is just like, oh, this is the cutest little library.
It is.
And then you've got our Versailles branch, which is right downtown in the heart of everything, because downtown Versailles is doing great. It's really fun to be a part of that. And so I think that just the charm of both of those places is really cool. And I think we have some of the best programming that fits the needs of our community. We have, Tommy, our adult programmer, and then, of course, Bookie and Becky with our children's programming. And then it goes beyond that to other parts of our staff who are like, oh, yeah, I want to do this program. So I think they're very in tune with what our community wants and needs and likes. And again, I just love that we provide not only opportunities to learn, but opportunities just to have fun and to be around other people.
Yeah. For anyone listening who dreams of working in a library or wants to get involved in the community, what advice would you give them?
First of all, I hope you like people. We're not in the book business, we're in the people business. Anytime I interview anyone, I say, listen, it's a great place to work, but if you think you're going to come here and read all day, you're wrong. Customer service is huge in any public library. Again, people think that we just sit in a quiet environment all day, but I mean, we're problem solvers. That's what we do all day long. It's really about just finding out what people need. They don't always know what they need. I also like to tell, I'm sure I told you this when I interviewed you. I mean, we see people on their very worst days.
Yes.
They come to the library sometimes to print out their divorce papers, or they are looking for a job. The only way they can get that job is to fill out an application online. They don't know how to use a computer. They don't have an email address, and they don't know how they're going to like actually apply for the job. So much of what we do is online now, and so many people have been left behind. So I think you just have to be willing to help people to deal with people that sometimes are not in the best circumstances. Again, just that customer service and that willingness to help. If you don't really enjoy working with people, the public library is not the space for you. We don't take a lot of volunteers, but I think just, come visit our history room. And if you want to learn to digitize stuff, come and we can put you to work for hours, teach you how some of that stuff works. We want to digitize a lot of our collection in the history room, and that takes time and hands. And so I think there's lots of opportunities there, but anybody who wants to go into library business, I think just needs to realize it's less about alphabetizing books and more about enjoying people.
So how can patrons make the most of everything the library has to offer?
Just look at our calendar. I mean, as someone in, management that deals with, I don't get to do programming, but I do look at the calendar like I did today. You have the January calendar ready to go, so I have to proofread it and look through it. And I'm just amazed. I can't believe we offer all these things.
It's always something.
I shouldn't be. I mean, I pay the bills, but just to see, again, I'm used to seeing those numbers and how much things cost and how much we're spending on food for programming and stuff, but just to look at the substance that's offered. So look at our calendar, whether online or the beautiful calendars that you design, paper calendars. Make sure you have your library card, but also know that everything except for programming that we offer in a house, we offer virtually. So you can, get a library card. You can never come into the library but still check out all of our ebooks, audiobooks, movies, TV shows, all the things. You can learn a language. You can read the newspaper. You can do all those things with your library card from our website. So just get involved. And I'm getting off topic a little bit, but just what's so impactful is when I go to programs, because again, I go home at 4:30, 5 o'clock. I don't always come back for library programs, but and actually Corey was in this program when we did. We we collaborated with the health department and the school system to do a mental wellness series, and I attended the one that was for older adults, seniors, and I left just so touched and in tears because it was mostly, I think it may have been all women that came. It was a very small group, and it makes me want to cry now because their husbands had passed away. They were widows, and they just talked about that need for social interaction. Because they don't know what to do with themselves. Either they've been caregivers for so long or they've been married for so long that once they found themselves alone, one lady was like, my husband told me to go off and do all the things I wanted to do and be happy, but she was like, I don't know how to do that. And it just hurt my heart. So I think if we can provide those opportunities for people to get out, talk face to face and say, hey, I'm bored too. Can we start playing bunco or something? I think that to me means more than statistics of how many people walk through the door, how many clicks we get on Facebook, how many likes, that kind of thing. I just think it's such a meaningful experience. We have Cafe Espanol, where we have a small group that get together twice a month and they speak Spanish to each other. We have some that are proficient native speakers of Spanish, others who are just learning, but I think that they have the best time. And again, it's those meaningful experiences that are, you learn something, you take something home, but you also just can't get that anywhere else, that interaction. So again, I could go on all day, but I think that to me, that's the most important role of the public library, is providing those experiences.
I agree. Stacy, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us today. It's been wonderful to get to know you both professionally and personally. For our listeners, be sure to check out all our amazing programs, resources, and events at the Woodford County Library. You can find everything on the library's website or by stopping by in person. And a special thanks to the What's Up Woodford Network for helping us share these stories from around the community. Stacy, any final thoughts you'd like to leave with our listeners today?
I just think the new year is the perfect time to get your library card.
I agree. So make sure you stop by. Thanks again for tuning in to the Woodford County Hometown Highlights. We'll see you next time. And remember, your library is always here for you, whether you're looking for a book, a program, or just a friendly face.